Okay, so come right to the front, feet hip width apart. Nice. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, bend your knees and touch the floor to the sides of your feet. Inhale, raise your chest, look up. And as you exhale, walk your feet back into plank. Bring your knees down to the floor. For Chaturanga Dandasana, our first one of the day, lower your chest just a little bit. Press your shoulders towards your elbows and your elbows towards each other. Coming into Cobra, bring the tops of your feet down to the floor. Bring your pubic bone down. Oh yeah, magnificent Cobra. So you guys look great. Tuck your toes under. Go back to Downward Facing Dog. On your next inhalation, put a little bend in your knees and look forward and step your right foot, then your left foot to the top of the mat. Raise your chest, Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, fold to Uttanasana. Bend your knees, sweep your arms ahead of you, come up to standing, and bring your hands together. Good. Bring your feet together. Hands down by your side. Bring your hands onto your hips. Tree pose. Turn the right leg out. Bring your leg up and place the foot as high as you can, pushing that left thigh into that right foot really strongly. Keep your hand here if your foot's slipping, or bring your left arm ahead of you, right arm out to the side, bring the elbow back and grab the bicep, like you did at the very beginning. If your foot slips, just keep your hand on it. Woo. Move your left hand forward as you bring the right shoulder back. Now release this and bring your arms up overhead and clasp your elbows. It doesn't matter which way. Lean a little bit over to the right. Come up if your arms are up. And then bring your hands onto your hips. Take your foot away, turn the knee forwards and place your foot down. Good. Other side, Vrikshasana. Turn the left leg out to the side. Bring the foot up. Again, keep the hand here. Or bring your right arm out, left thumb down, reach around for the bicep. Raise your chest, bring your shoulders back. Tailbone pressing down towards that right inner heel. Keep your gaze soft. And then release your arms, bring them up overhead. Cross the other way with the forearms, grab your elbows. Maybe come back a little bit more. And then lean your arms over to the left. If you've got your arms up overhead, bring them up now. Bring your hands back onto your hips. Take your foot away and place your foot forward. Good. Now, if you've moved back, come forward. Come to the front of your mat. Yeah. Bring your feet together again. Good. Hands on your hips. We're going to repeat that pose. Turn the right knee out. Bring your foot up. Good. Keep your hand here or bring your arms up overhead. Now bring your hands halfway down for eagle pose. Garudasana. Take your right foot away, bend the left leg and wrap the right leg around the left. Stay like this if you're struggling, or bring your right arm under. Press your hands gently away from your face. And then round your back. Round your back so much that you feel like your right ribs are getting closer and closer and closer to your right thigh. Keep your arms like this. Unravel your right leg and bring your right heel up towards your right buttock. Bend the left leg really deeply like you did before, but this time your arms are in a knot. Press your left leg straight behind you. Lower your chest so now it does touch the thigh. And then step back, bring your arms up. And then come into warrior two. Unravel your arms. That's it. And left arm forward. Bend that left leg, press the left buttock in. Yes, that's okay. Triangle pose. Straighten your left leg, lean forward, bring your hand down, bring that top arm up, and then lean back as you keep pressing the left buttock in and pin it towards your back foot. Now, like you did in the arm balances, turn that inner elbow crease forward, that left inner elbow crease forward. Now for half moon, bring your right hand onto your hip, look down, step your back foot forward, keep the left foot toes pointing straight ahead, bring your left fingertips down to the floor, right leg comes up, keep looking down and bring that top arm up. And if you can keep turning that left inner thigh forwards towards your thumb, then go for it. Now from here, you're going to go back into warrior two, but very, very slowly. Bring your top hand onto your hip, lower your chest, bend that front knee a lot. So again, you're making contact with the ribs and then step back as lightly as you can. Come back to warrior two, warrior two, warrior two. Nice. Then come into downward facing dog. Pick up the back heel, touch down, step back, down dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. For Chaturanga Dandasana, bring your knees down or have straight legs. Inhale, curl up into Cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog, lift up, press back. Slightly bend your knees and look forward. Step your left foot and then your right foot, or just walk forward to the top of the mat. Raise your chest, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold to Uttanasana. Now, heel toe your feet together. Bend your knees really deep. Actually, no, sorry guys. Change. Bend your knees, come up to standing. Bring your arms all the way up. Bring your hands together and down in towards your heart. I nearly missed out tree pose. That would have been terrible. Bring your hands onto your hips. Turn the left leg out. Bring your foot up and plug in. Dig in the heel, dig in the toes. Keep your hand here or bring your arms up to Urdhva Hastasana. Thumbs back a little bit more. Press your tailbone down. Now bring your arms halfway down. Eagle pose. Take that left leg away. Bend the right leg and then wrap as much as you can. Stay like this or bring your hands onto your hips or bring the left arm under for the full pose. Good. Soften your shoulders. Press your hands away from your face. After all the work that we've been doing, this is really nice. Now round your back even more. Keep your arms like this. Unravel that left leg. Now bring the left heel up towards your buttock. Lower your chest even more and take a big step back, coming into Warrior Two. When you get here, open up your arms. Nice. Check that your knee is pointing forward. Yeah, that's it. Triangle pose, straighten that leg, lean forwards. Bring your hand just below your knee, not too far down, so that you can really turn your chest. You're not dropping the right ribs down. Firm your abs, press that right buttock towards the back foot. Now for half moon, bring your hand back onto your hip, your top hand onto your hip. Bend the front knee as you step your foot forward. Keep the right toes pointing forwards. Bring your fingertips to the floor and come up. Ardha Chandrasana. Firm your abdominal muscles. Turn a little bit more so you've got your shoulder on top of your shoulder and your hip on top of your hip. Now coming back to Warrior Two, do this really slowly. Bring your top hand on your hip, bend the front knee really deeply and then reach back and land with your back foot. Come back again into Virabhadrasana 2. And then downward facing dog, touch down and step back. Okay, bring your knees to the floor. And come up into Vajrasana again. So sit onto your heels with your toenails on the floor. Twist towards the left. Bring your right hand onto your leg. Pick up your arms, twist to the other side. Relax your shoulders. And then again, twist towards the left. Bring your head back a bit. And then final time, twist towards the right. And come back to center. Yin. You have done so much back bending stuff. Our yin is going to be forward stuff and more twisting things. So we're going to start with a really nice long held forward fold. Child's pose. In this child's pose, I want you to try and have your legs quite close to each other. We've done the previous ones with the legs quite far apart. When the legs are far apart, the lower back kind of flattens a little bit. With the legs closer together, you're forced to round and lengthen the lower back even more. It's not quite as comfortable because there's less space for your belly and chest. So by all means, a little bit of separation is fine. And I want you to also bring your hands back by your legs like you did before and really relax the hands. If your fingers are straight, they're not relaxed. Let everything soften as much as you can, and then I'll talk you more through it. So get that basic shape now. If you want to put your head on the block, because you find that your bottom is up high, then by all means, putting your head on the block will mean that you can rest your bottom more onto your heels. I think most of you here don't need this, but if you do, please put your head on the block. So go into the basic shape and then I'll talk you into it a little bit more. Now you're going to hold this pose for 3 minutes. So it's going to have a very different tone and quality to the normal child's pose. It's going to change for you throughout this 3 minutes. So further little adjustments. tuck your chin up a little bit more towards your chest so that you're lengthening the back of your neck a little bit more. As long as that feels comfortable in your neck. And perhaps bend your elbows a little bit more and let your hands slide a bit more towards your knees. And you might find that you can relax your shoulders a little bit more doing that. Check that your fingers are really relaxed. So if you're not sure, you can actually make fists. Make fists with your fingers and then let your fists just naturally open without any force. Just let the fingers kind of spring slowly back. Notice if you're leaning more to the left or the right and adjust so that you're as centrally positioned as you can without being obsessive about it, just as much as you can. And if you need to move and adjust a little bit more, then do. Your hands are too straight, yeah, nice and soft, yeah. If you feel like your feet are too mashed together, you want to separate them a little bit, do all those little last adjustments now so that you can then be really still. If you've regretted not taking your ponytail out, just do it now so that you can then be really, really still. Yeah, go for it, yeah. And let all the muscles on your back soften a little bit more. Try and surrender your pelvis, your bottom, down towards your heels with a little bit more weight. If you start to feel any pain or pins and needles, please feel free to come out of the pose. It's not completely mandatory that you have to stay. If you feel like you have to come out, please do. Now that you're very aware of your body and letting it soften, perhaps even more, have that in the background of your mind, noticing how your body feels, as you then bring your attention to your breath. Don't change your breath in any way, don't make it thinner or longer, just notice it as it is now in a very normal and relaxed way. It probably feels quite light. And follow your breath. Just notice it. Notice it as you breathe in through your nostrils, down the back of your throat. Probably just going to the tops of your lungs because you're very relaxed. And notice as you exhale, following the path of that breath as it leaves your body. And when your mind wanders away, which it absolutely will do, and you start thinking about your past, your future, notice your mind being distracted and kindly bring your attention back to following your breath. A meditation. I'm going to do this for 1 more minute. Keep following your breath. Now from here, raise your head, bring your hands to the floor below your shoulders and push yourself up. And come to lying down with bent knees. So just bring your hands to the sides of your mat. Keep your knees bent, keep your feet on the floor, come all the way down. You've just done quite a big sort of flexion of your hips. So we're going to carry on with that and come into half happy baby. So keep your feet on the floor just to begin with. Press your elbows down so that you can bring your shoulder blades a little closer to each other on your upper back. Then keeping your left foot on the floor, move your left foot a little bit more over to the left. You're going to keep it down as you now pick up your right foot. Bring your arm inside the knee and your hand to the outside of the foot. Left arm on the floor with the palm facing up. Now in half happy baby, you're going to gently bring your right knee down towards the floor. And that's it. Normally when we do this in a hatha or a vinyasa class, I would ask you to push your foot up towards the ceiling. But in yin, I want you to try and relax as much as you can. So you've got to keep the strength in your right hand, hooking around the outside of your foot. But apart from that, just let the weight of your arm carry the weight of your leg down towards the floor a little bit more. So you're going to do a little bit of work in the arm there, just to keep in place. But apart from that, maybe a little bit of a pulling down. Let your right leg really surrender. You'll probably feel that you're lying very heavily on the right side of your back and the left side is peeling up a little bit. That's okay, but not too much. Keep the left side of your back at least in contact with the floor, or at least your t-shirt is in contact with the floor. So you're not rolling too much over to the right. And if you can, try not to bring your right heel down towards your right buttock. Try and have that right knee at a right angle, at least as much as you can. No more than a right angle, but that right knee is nice and open so that you can really lengthen the back of the leg as well. Now you're going to stay like this for another minute, so not too long, but actually a minute is quite a long time like this. If you feel like your right arm is really suffering, you can bring your left hand onto the inner foot just to take away some of the weight. And even let your right hand come away for a few moments. You've got about 30 seconds left. If you can open up the angle of your right knee a little bit more, if it's not at a right angle, then try and do that. Now that you've been here for a while, you might find that your muscles are softening even more. So don't squeeze the right buttock in any way. You're really trying to relax your legs completely. Even let that left knee drop over to the left. Relax your neck, your jaw, your mouth, your eyes. Make sure that your head is centrally located in between your shoulders. Now coming to the other side, release your right foot, bring your right arm down to the side, let your right arm really rest. Right foot a little further over to the right, and then pick up your left leg. Bend the knee enough so that you can bring your hand around the little toe edge, but then as you bring your head to the floor, straighten that left arm and let your left knee drop towards the floor. Don't let the left knee be on your chest, it's way over to the left. Again, play around with that positioning of your weight in your back, not too much over to the left. The right side of your body is on the floor. And move your right foot over to the right enough that you feel like you've got some weight on the right side to counterbalance yourself. Really relax your right arm. Having said that, if you feel like your left arm is really suffering, you can bring your right hand onto the right foot at any time. Relax your neck and your head. About another minute here. Relax your left foot, let the toes be soft. Relax the entire left leg as much as you can. Let your breathing be light. And if you can follow your breath like you just did in child's pose, if you don't have to keep your attention alert onto your left leg, then by all means just follow your breathing. Or you can move from focusing on your breath to your body, backwards and forwards, however you want. About 20 more seconds. Soften that left foot. And then release that left foot. Bring your hand down to the floor, palm up, as if you were coming into Shavasana, but you're not. Keep your eyes open. Keep your knees bent, your feet on the floor. Just stay here for a few moments, resting, observing your body, observing your hips. So we're going to do a yin pose now that's very similar to the pose that you just did, but you're going to be able to put a bit more depth into it because gravity is now going to be helping you. So from here, please roll over onto your side and come to hands and knees with your hands at the front of the mat, and have your block nearby. So just put your block on the left side of your mat. Hands and knees. Move your right hand a little closer to your left hand. And then step your right foot to the outside of your right little toe. Move your back knee back a little bit more and make sure that your back toenails are on the floor. Turn your right foot so that the toes are a little bit more out towards the right. So you've got a little bit of an angle in that foot. Good. Now, I think you probably know what we're going to do here. Right? I'm going to give you the option to bend your elbows and bring your chest down towards the floor. Your block is here because many of you are going to be able to bring your elbows down quite easily, but the block is there for those of us that find it a little bit more tricky. So the block is there. If you want to put your left elbow on it, please do. So, talking you through that, bring your hands into a comfortable position that's quite wide apart, and feel free to have your fingers even on the floor off the mat. And then maybe you can bend that left elbow, but if you find that it gets to the point where you can't bring the elbow to the floor, then your block is there. And remember, your block can come up a level as well. I think the top level is unnecessary. Yeah? So you can come to the second level, you can come to the base, and whatever you're doing, keep moving your chest slightly forward as you relax down as much as you can. So again, normally if we would do this in a Hatha or a Vinyasa class, I would be asking you to squeeze your buttocks together, press your front foot to the back foot. But in Yin, I'm asking you to completely and utterly relax. Having said that, if you feel like you do need to slightly round your back, if you're protecting an injury, feel free to firm any muscle that you think needs to be engaged in order to support yourself. Now, I'm going to keep you here for about another minute. If you feel like you have to come out earlier, please feel free. And if you want to move your right foot more over to the right, feel free to do that, but I don't want you to be leaning too much over to the left. Try and be quite centrally distributing your weight to the left and the right side. So you might not be able to bring your elbows to the floor at all. Whatever you're doing, find something that makes the stretch in your legs feel good and even. And at any time, just come to your breathing. Let your head hang. You can even put your head on your block if it's available. About 15 more seconds. Try and be still. A little bit more. And then please come back to hands and knees. Do this really slowly. You're going to feel quite old. And to set up, if you needed the block on that first side, you're probably going to need it on this side. So put the block on the right hand side of your mat. Come back to hands and knees. And then step your left foot forward. So bring your left hand a little closer to the right so you've got some space. Turn that left foot out a little bit to the left. This is the opposite of what you just did, so you're going to feel very creaky. That's okay, just take your time, take your time. Maybe move that right knee back a little bit. Okay, and then little bit by little bit, maybe you can lower your chest and move your chest slightly forward. Remember, the block is there for your right elbow if you need it. Don't feel like you've got to bring your elbows down to the floor. That really it's not the final pose. The final pose is what you are doing today to stretch and open your hips in a therapeutic way for you. If you have got your arms straight, you're going to have to use the strength of your arms a little bit, but don't overdo it. Try not to bring your shoulders to your ears. Try and only use the strength that's needed, no more. And just like I said on the other side, if you need to squeeze any muscles, if you need to slightly round your back, feel free to do that. And if you can put your forehead on the block, be my guest. You're very lucky if you can do that. About 40 more seconds here. Find a position that you can hold and be still in. And you might find that over time you can slightly drop your body down a little bit more and deepen the pose. Try and really relax your muscles and let that left knee travel out to the left. Now from here, I want you to come into downward facing dog, but slowly. So if your elbows are on the floor, bring your hands to the floor, move the block off your mat, and then gently, slowly start to bring your bottom up so that you can move that left foot back, place your hands, and then come up and squeeze your muscles into down dog. So a yang pose here, really using your strength. Squeeze your muscles so that you can get the chi, the prana, the energy, moving around more in your muscles. Sort of shifting out of your joints and more into the periphery of your body. And then bring your knees down to the floor and come into the child's pose that we normally do in the hatha class. So keep your arms straight. Slowly, slowly sit down onto your heels. Bring your forehead to the floor. Come back up to hands and knees. We're going to do another yin pose, a twist. So from here, come back to sitting on your mat, and you're going to need your block again. So have your block on the left side of your mat like you did before. I'm just going to quickly show you this because I'm going to give you levels to choose from. So in this twist, you can either just keep your legs parallel, and if you want, you can absolutely bring your legs onto your block. Actually, having said if you want, I want to change that. I want you to be able to keep the other shoulder, the right shoulder, on the floor. So if you can't, if it comes up, then I want you to put the block underneath here so that you can really relax. You can really let go, and that's so that you can really lengthen the side of your body. So I'll talk you through that. Having said that, I'm going to show you the next possible stages. If you're very flexible down the side of your body, then you can cross one leg over the other. This takes it much further, and then scooch your bottom over. And then again, the option is there to put the block underneath your legs. The further away you get less support, the closer into the body the block is, the higher your legs come up and the more support you get. So adjust as needed so that your opposite shoulder is on the floor. Okay, just on the floor. So you are still getting a nice big stretch. So block nearby. Bring your bottom into the center of your mat. Lie down. Bring your head to the floor. I'll talk you through it again. Bring your arms down by your side. So if you know your body and you know that you can cross one leg over the other and be comfortable with that, go for it. Otherwise, whatever you're doing, move your bottom over to the right, and either with your right leg crossed over or your right leg parallel to the left, bring your knees down to the floor or onto your block. If your right shoulder comes off the floor, then move the block a little closer to your upper thigh, upper left thigh. And adjust so that your knees come up towards your left shoulder as you want to. So if you want to get a little bit more of a lower back tugging on the right side, bring your knees up a little higher. So adjust the pose. You're kind of tailor making the pose to fit you. And you can move your left ribs a little closer to the left side of the mat by pressing your left elbow down, so that brings your right shoulder down towards the mat a little better. Do you know what I mean? Does anyone want to say what? Say that again. No? You got that? I'm going to have a look at you guys. Okay, so make sure that your right shoulder's on the floor, that your knees are either on the floor or on your block. Turn your right palm up. That will bring your right shoulder blade under a little better. And some of you have got your right hand up by your ear. That's fine. I like to bring my arm down, not straight, but you do as you want. Yeah. Play around with both. See what feels good. You've got a minute and a half here. So adjust to be comfortable, bearing in mind that a minute and a half is a long time. Now that your body is set, be still unless you're in pain and you have to come out. And bring your attention to your breathing. And imagine that your right lung is 5 times bigger than your left lung, and you really want to fill it with your breath. Imagine that right lung comes all the way into your right thigh. And you can even take that further by breathing in more through your right nostril. And make your breath as long and as deep as is comfortable. If you start to feel lightheaded, then slow it down a bit. If you've got your right leg on top of your left leg parallel and you don't know what to do with your feet, just tuck that top foot under the bottom foot. It's like you're parking it and you don't have to think about it so much. Keep that breathing into the right side of your body. If you get distracted, if your mind starts thinking about other things, keep bringing it back to that. Try and loosen and soften more your entire body. So if you're squeezing your legs together, for example, let that go. Really relaxed. Now you're going to come to the other side. So slowly, slowly push your feet down so you can bring your knees up. Uncross that right leg at the time that feels good. Shift your bottom to the center. If you used the block before, you're going to need to use it again. So bring it to the other side of your mat, the right side. And then pick your bottom up, move it over to the left. And either keep your legs parallel or cross the left leg over if you've got a bit more opening. And move the block so that it supports you enough for your left shoulder to be on the floor. Scooch yourself. Sometimes when we're doing this twist, we can bring the upper body, the head and the shoulders too much over to the right. So make sure that you feel like your head and your spine and your tailbone are kind of in a straight line, even though they're twisting. Turn your palms up. Move your feet into a position that you can stay in. I like to have my nose pointing straight up to the ceiling, but if you want to twist your neck to the left a bit, please feel free to do that. And then really soften your body. Try and surrender down to the floor. And when your body is set up in a position that you can maintain and be still in for the next about 90 seconds or so, bring your attention to your left lung. And again, imagine that it's much bigger than the right, and you're breathing in through your left nostril, all the way down your body into your left thigh. Every time you breathe in, you're really softening and lengthening tissues. And as you let go, you relax a little bit more. As you exhale, you relax a little bit more. Relax your neck. Relax your shoulders. And focus your mind entirely on your breathing. Left body breathing. Keep focusing on your breath. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Now to come out, press your feet down and slowly bring your knees up. You can push your hands down as well to help you bring that weight up. Uncross your legs and shift your bottom back to center. Keep your feet on the floor. We're going to do a supported bridge pose here. So have the block in your hand and your feet about hip width apart, and feel that you haven't got one foot further forward than the other and your toes are pointing forwards. Pick your bottom up and put your block underneath your lower back so that you feel like your tailbone is right at the front edge of the block. I've got my block on the lowest setting. If you want to bring your block a little higher, then do. I think the lowest setting is fine now. You guys have already worked really hard. Push your elbows down so that you can bring your shoulder blades a little closer to each other, and then bring your arms down to the floor and just stay here. Make sure that your throat is open, your chin is pointing up towards the ceiling, and rest. Letting the blood from your legs and your pelvis move to your heart, and from your heart down to your brain. A very relaxing way for your cardiovascular system, your heart and your lungs to really soften. There's gravity bringing the blood to your brain. Slowly make your way into Shavasana. When you're ready, you might want to stay here a little bit longer. Coming into Shavasana, when you're ready, you're going to just push your feet down and move the block away, and then lengthen your legs long. As you come into Shavasana, make sure that you're not touching your block, so move it away. Don't push it onto your neighbour's mat, but I want you to make sure that none of your nervous system is being stimulated, so no blocks, no straps, no water bottles are touching you. Make sure that your arms and your legs are an equal distance away from the center line of your body. Your head is equally spaced between your shoulders. And just for the beginning of Shavasana, keep your mind alert. As I read you this poem, don't try and decipher or understand this poem, just notice how it makes you feel. It's called The Way It Is by William Stafford. There's a thread you follow. It goes among things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder about what you are pursuing. You have to explain about the thread. But it is hard for others to see. While you hold it, you can't get lost. Tragedies happen, people get hurt or die, and you suffer and get old. Nothing you can do stops time's unfolding. You don't ever let go of the thread. Now really rest. Don't follow your breathing or meditate, just let your body soften. Let your brain drop to the back of your skull and relax in Shavasana. Now please bend your knees one leg at a time and roll onto your right side and stay here. Just stay here for a few more moments as you observe your body. Be aware of how your body feels right now. Be aware of how this sequence has slightly changed your body and how it's responded. Even be aware of the movement of the air on your skin. Be aware of your clothing touching your skin. Be aware of your body touching the ground and that compressive feeling of your weight. Be aware of your thoughts and how they affect your emotions, how you feel. And be aware of that strong inner thread that doesn't change, your inner teacher, your inner guide, and trust it, and keep coming back to it. Press down with your left hand and then your right hand, bringing yourself up into a seated position. When you get here, bring your hands into your heart and sit as centrally, comfortably and tall as you can. Let's finish our sequence today by chanting the sound of Om together one time. Inhale deeply. Bow your head towards your heart. Separate your hands and press them down onto your legs. Raise your heart, raise your chin, open your eyes. Namaste. And please say namaste to someone else. Maybe 2 more people, or just me. Thank you guys, well done. Thank you for coming. I hope you have a really good weekend. Enjoy. Take care. I'll put this up on YouTube. I'm also probably going to put the whole class up on YouTube, and I'm also going to chop it up. So there'll be the entire 90 minutes, and then there'll be sort of 30 minutes of sort of sun salutations and warm up, and then I'll have 30 minutes of just yin. So if you find you haven't got time for the 90 minutes, you can choose what you want to do. And remember to subscribe, and then you'll be alerted and press the bell for when I put up new things. Good. Okay. Take care. If you've got any questions, I'm here.